Hey y'all, Jennifer in Western North Carolina here. I have an update for everyone. I got a letter, me and my husband got a letter from our mortgage company, Flagstar, and they have sold our loan to a new servicer called Mr. Cooper. Guess who owns Mr. Cooper? Or at least a pretty big part of it. Vanguard. So yeah, all related to what's going on here in the area. Wish I could communicate more without having my post taken down. But this is pretty interesting, guys. Don't like it very much.
And that's one thing all of these disasters have in common. You might not be able to find FEMA. You might not be able to find government assistance. Rescue teams may never come to your rescue, but Vanguard and BlackRock and companies owned by them are going to show up. And they are going to try to buy your land. They're going to try to buy your homes, buy your farmland, you name it. Often it's lowball offers. Lowball offers to people who are in a desperate situation that just lost everything. But sometimes the offers are even kind of good. But that's just one thing all of these disasters have in common. Before the rescue teams arrive to save people, these big corporations and companies are already on the ground figuring out ways they could benefit from these disasters. And most of these disasters aren't natural. Yeah, a hurricane, that's a natural disaster. But these chemical spills like we saw in East Palestine, Ohio, fires like we saw in Lahaina, those are not natural. You might think that some of these wildfires are natural. They're not. If you look into the situations, more often than not, these aren't natural disasters, if you will. These fires could be prevented. And why is it that these disasters always happen in areas that powerful people are interested in? You know what I mean? Like, this may be some valuable farmland, or maybe you're sitting on top of oil or minerals or something. It's always happening on land that the government is interested in. Just like with the fires in Maui, powerful people were trying to buy out that land and buy out those homes for a long time so they could build these resorts and what have you. And the reason why the vegetation in Lahaina and Maui was so dry and so easily, able to catch fire and spread was because these homes in these areas weren't given the water that they needed, right? They weren't properly watering the trees, the vegetation, and what have you, and all of the water was being sent to these big resorts. And Maui started kind of drying up, so it was even easier for it to catch fire and spread. That's a conversation for another day. It's just another example of how these disasters keep playing out. People lose everything, government doesn't do what they need to do to help, and then you got BlackRock and Vanguard, they roll in like there's some type of saviors trying to buy people out of their land and homes. But, here we are, weeks out from the hurricane. We still got hundreds of people missing. And, some people are just now getting power. Some people are still without power. So we got videos that are still pouring in. New videos, never before seen footage from Hurricane Helene that's pouring in. I saw one group of about 14, 15 people. They finally made their way down from the mountain for the first time since the storm. They've been isolated for weeks. They finally hiked down the mountain. They had videos and stuff, a lot of horrific things that happened. There's things that I can't even show here on YouTube. You could go follow me on X. Maybe I'll post the videos over there. But there's videos of like people being swept away, screaming in the floodwaters and all types of stuff like that. So there's devastation in certain areas in North Carolina that we haven't even seen yet, that we're just now starting to see. There's wild stories that we're just now starting to hear. And you got to understand, there's still hundreds of people that we haven't heard from. There's still thousands upon thousands of people without power, and we haven't seen their footage or heard their stories yet either. So, these stories, these firsthand accounts and these videos are going to keep rolling in. But one thing I've seen people complain about, and one thing I've been seeing is people are complaining about like this horrible smell in some areas. Of course, when it floods like this, the sewage water comes up and all of that. You got caskets and stuff that are floating around, graveyards that were kind of, it's just gross. But you got graves that have kind of like risen to the surface, and you got bodies out here amongst all of the devastation that haven't been collected yet. I've seen a lot of videos where you'll see mounds where there's like crosses and stuff, or little marks that would indicate, hey, there may be a body here. I think in some situations they're bringing dogs that are sniffing out certain areas, and they're maybe hitting on something, but they don't have the equipment to dig through, all the mud and dig through all of the debris. So they're kind of marking areas where they think bodies are. Like, hey, I guess we'll come back to this later. And that's scary, because you got survivors that are walking through these areas to get supplies. And, oh, there's a mound right there where someone we probably know is buried under. Oh, look at this debris. It looks like the dogs picked up on a scent here. There may be a dead person right here under all of these trees and pieces of, homes and what have you. Crazy, crazy situation. But I want to go ahead and roll this video clip so you can get an idea of what some of these areas look like right now, and then I'll be right back with more thoughts.
It smells really bad through here. Like rotting. Really bad. Oh shit. Is this for real? Oh, it smells so bad. Yeah, I'm gonna go up here. Oh, you guys, I had to walk away. It's really stinky.
We've now reached a point in this story, and I would say we reached this point like a week or so ago, where the media coverage is basically over. The media has basically moved on from this story. Don't get me wrong, they may talk about it every once in a while, but it's kind of been forgotten. And I hate that because there's still hundreds of people missing, but that's how the modern day news cycle works, and that's how modern day people's attention span works. You have this devastating storm, and before all of the missing people are even found, it's like, okay, we're done with this story, we're moving on. And you still got people out here searching for bodies to this day, right now as we speak. You got families out here desperately searching for their loved ones still. You got people still trapped that haven't seen another human in weeks. Yet, news cycle, it's all ready to go. You know what I mean? And of course, we got this election in, a little over 10 days. So I would say, I hate to put it like this, but the way this news and the way this story has already moved out of the news cycle, we got about 12 days. Less than that. I would say we got 10 days left to do whatever we can to raise awareness about what's going on in these devastated areas to get these people help. Because once the election comes, this story is over. The story's over. And don't get me wrong, people will still be missing. Bodies will still not have been found yet. People will still be needing supplies, water and food. The rebuilding process hasn't even begun. But the story, the way the American attention span works and the way the mainstream media works, the story will be never discussed again after the next 10 days. Once this election comes up, things are going to get crazy. So we need to do what we can to keep spreading awareness about this, because when you apply pressure, that's when things are done. And I'm not saying that things could even be done here to change everything that happened, obviously, but there are still things that can be done. And the people are still speaking out about things they need. You know what I mean? So the way I see it, we only have a little over a week left to spread awareness about this situation. Because after that, this story is going to be completely memory hold. Before the missing people are found and everything, this story will be completely memory hold. We've seen it happen time and time again. It happens with almost every one of these kinds of stories. You got about a week or two before the media is ready to move on. And now that we got this election coming up, we're going to be seeing some wild, wild stuff. And you guys know that, and I know that. It doesn't matter who wins. Things are going to get wild, folks. But for now, continue to pray for these people. Continue to do what you can, like I said, especially over the next week or so, to spread awareness about the story. Apply whatever pressure you can. So hopefully we can try to get these people some help before this story completely gets blown out of the water by everything that's going to happen after this election. I do believe that within 10 days, there's some things that can be done that would help these people in so many ways that we can't even imagine. So we do still have a little bit of time. But after that, who knows what's going to happen next. But you let me know what you think about this down in the comments below. While you're down there, hit that thumbs up, hit that subscribe, ring that notification bell, and I'll talk to you all very soon in the next one.